Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Due to YouTube's changing quote-unquote community standards, I created a channel called Grumpy Old Fart over on Rumble, a free speech alternative to YouTube. You can see all of my stuff over there, including my political and social commentary, as well as my current events videos. The links to my YouTube and Rumble channels, as well as links to let you order my books, are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an AD&D advice video for Dungeon Masters on Homebrew Classes. This is one of the big deals in Dungeons and Dragons. Let me get a drink of coffee right quick before I continue. You gotta have good coffee in your life. You can't go wrong with it. You know, you gotta have good coffee. Alright. No matter how many classes you have in your game, with all of their potential variations and all of the different weapon proficiencies and specialties, at some point one of your players will want something different. It's nothing against your game or you as a dungeon master, it's the nature of the beast. Human beings always want something different, something more. This includes all of the new classes put forth in the various magazines. I mentioned when I did the video of palliating paladins, I mentioned, I talked about a article in Dragon Magazine called A Plethora of Paladins. Check that out. And there's all kinds of other ones that came out in Dragon Magazine as well. I believe they have one called, it's a type of it's a duelist, that's what it's called, duelist. This guy picks fights with people so he can kill them with his sword. And people pay him to eliminate enemies that way. All kinds of different classes in there. Now, over the course of my gaming career, I started running Dungeons & Dragons in 1979. I've been playing for a long time. I've been running it for a long time. I've created a number of character classes for various campaigns. I had players who wanted something different, and I said, okay, I'll see what I can do. I have run a lot of different campaigns in the past. Most of them were pretty short. One ran for 14 years. The one that ran for 14 years, I'm going to use this one as an example. I had 3 different players who wanted different character classes. One guy had seen some movie about gladiators. He wanted to run a gladiator class, so I created one for him. One guy was enamored with the James Bond movie Live and Let Die, so I created for him the Hungan class. And another guy was enamored with archery. For some reason, he was a bow hunter, that's what it was. And so I created for him a class called the Arcus. The Arcus is a specialist archer with deadly arrows that they themselves fashion at night, by the campfire. An Arcus is almost useless in melee combat, but with the bow and arrows, he's quite nasty. He's not shooting fireballs out of the thing or lightning bolts or anything, but he's quite nasty with his arrows. And he is a fighter type, so he has good hit points and reasonable stuff. A Hungan is a voodoo witch doctor, kind of a mix of a druid, and a necromancer and wizard and a thief. This guy started out really wimpy, but he really grew into the class. I did a video called The Puppet Master. And the Puppet Master, the character, the player was running a Hungan. I think I mentioned it in that game, but he ended up controlling a number of kingdoms, and he was it became quite nasty. But it took him a long time to build up to that. So, it was a reasonable class. It fit my campaign. The Gladiator was a specialist with melee weapons and specific gladiator weapons. He got bonuses with specific gladiator weapons, even more bonuses. He was useless with ranged weapons, but you put that Arcus and the Gladiator together, as a pairing, and they could take on just about anything. It was quite nice. I know a guy who was trying to perfect the Adventurer class. It was a kind of a catch-all class, kind of a jack-of-all-trades, master of none. And to the best of my knowledge, nobody has ever made that work. In my opinion, that's a good thing. If he had made that adventurer class work, there would be no need for any other classes. You'd have entire parties of adventurers with, no thieves, no fighters, no clerics or wizards. AD&D was designed as a team game. Each class brings something unique to that party. No one character should be able to do everything, When you create these original classes, there are a number of considerations, and this is my advice when you're creating these. First, do not overpower the class. Everybody has a tendency to add a little bit here and a little bit there, and next thing you know, he's overpowered. If you give them an ability that is overpowered, then the monsters have to be able to withstand said ability to give him a challenge. If the monster can withstand that ability, then chances are the other players won't stand a chance against that guy, against that monster. So while you're beefing up the monster to take on this new class, the rest of the players are mincemeat, you see. Number 2, balance the class. For every neat ability you give the class, make sure it has a suitable and commensurate disability. The Arcus can do great damage with bows and arrows. In melee range, an Arcus is toast. Gladiators are the opposite. They are hell on wheels in melee range, but if the enemy has bows, they're kind of wimpy. They run and hide. They die pretty quick. So for every neat ability you give them something commensurate to a detriment, Number 3, make sure the class fits the world. A class that specializes in, say, swords cannot exist in a world that never developed metallurgy, like a Stone Age world, for example. Or if you can't make a guy who specializes in firearms if you're playing in a world that never developed firearms. You see, no gunpowder, no guns, that kind of thing. And number 4, try hard to eliminate loopholes. And this is the big one right here. No matter what else you do, eliminate loopholes. Players will try to exploit every loophole to the nth degree. You can bet money on it. And don't kid yourself by doubting that for an instant. Try not to create any new classes unless you have to. But if you have to, make sure to follow these 4 points. And remember, the point is to make a fun experience for your players. That's your job, is to make sure they have fun. If they're having fun, you're okay. If you can take an existing class and tweak it a little, that would be better than having to create an entirely new class. We had a lot of fun with the Hungan and the Arcus and the Gladiator, but I try to avoid letting people run those if I can help it, because they fit that one particular campaign, but they didn't really work well in others. You know what I'm saying? So again, if somebody wants a fighter that does blah, then take a fighter and tweak it a little bit. Don't make an entirely new class for that. You see what I'm saying? The guy who was a bow hunter wanted better arrows, better this, better that. He wanted to make an archer that was more formidable than just a fighter that specialized with bows. So I made it that. Guy also had absolutely no melee combat ability. So, that's how that worked out. Alright, I hope this helps. And again, I'm not telling you this is how you have to do it. This is just my advice from an old hack wargamer that has been around the block a couple of times. You folks have a good day now. God bless one and all. Clarissa Lowe, a historian from the future. Delmore Kane, a Civil War veteran turned outlaw. This oddball pairing faces a conspiracy of epic proportions spanning the centuries. If you like action and adventure westerns with a splash of science fiction and fantasy, check out my book series Drifters and their ongoing adventures.